Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with a snack habit. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to the intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure that you do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking, and I appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So what do we have here? We have a monster versus an ex-CEO, okay? We have Hector the Corrector, not the defector, right? Getting a lawsuit filed on him by Jaime Osuna. Okay, for those of you that are not on planet Earth and don't know who Jaime Osuna is, the Vato literally thinks he's the Joker, right? We're talking about a real-life comic book character that came to life and did some of the most craziest and outlandish murders in the state of California. Okay, Loco, he's also known as Loco, Little Loquito, from Bakersfield, right, is probably one of the most notorious criminals in California right now, based upon the crimes he did, or at least he wants us to believe that, right? Jaime Osuna was initially incarcerated for killing a woman, luring a woman to a motel room in Bakersfield, California, and plunging scissors in her back several times for no reason at all. There was no reasoning behind it other than he just had a thirst for the kill, okay? This guy's had several videos made about him. I've made several videos myself. He's done interviews with people, and he's kind of full of himself, a narcissist, a diabolical individual that does tend to tell stories of the occult, and he's just a crazy dude, right? He's mostly known for what he did to his cellie in prison. Again, a man was placed in his cell who should have never been placed in his cell. But again, when you're in prison and you're not on standalone or walk-alone status or single cell status, then whoever they put in there with you, they put in there with you. This man was placed in Jaime Osuna's cell, and Jaime Osuna, over several hours, decapitated that man, cut his organs out, made a necklace with his ears and several other body parts, and basically put his head on a table and blood all over the walls, right? It was a craziest story. When the SEALs came in the morning, they found Jaime Osuna covered in this man's DNA, sitting on his bunk laughing. Okay, so that right there in itself is a crazy, crazy story. But I seen something that popped up on Instagram, and it is concerning and alarming. And it's about Hector Bravo, okay, the retired CEO whose whole mission in life, man, and very well respected. I respect the hell out of Hector. We've never had no bad interactions or anything. He seems like a very good man, a positive man, a good father. You know, he's ex-military, so he was definitely someone who I will respect always for his service. And he's also an ex-CEO who got tired of the bullshit, got tired of the politics within the prison system, got tired of CEOs being treated the way they're treated and convicts being treated a certain way. And some people consider him a whistleblower. Some people say that this vendetta that he has against the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations is a one-man mission. But I'm here to tell you, without people like Hector exposing the shenanigans that's going on within the CDC, we would have not a lot of nothing. Okay, this man, it's a life or death situation, what he's doing. It's definitely a situation where he's taking the weight on his back, just like he wore that pack when he was in the military on his back and it was heavy, and he's running with it. Okay, and he's letting people know that his exposed game when it comes to CDC shenanigans is real. There's no denying that Hector has put out videos that are very controversial, that he has spoken on several platforms like Vlad TV and other places, you know, Soft White Underbelly, just these different platforms where he has told his story. He has told his reasoning why he is doing what he's doing. And you either respect him or you don't. There's a lot of people that don't give him the respect that he deserves because he's an ex-CEO. But a jale is a jale. A job is a job. And he was trying to make the community safe, and he was trying to protect people while incarcerated, and he continues to do that. That's just a fact. Even though he's not with CDC anymore, and he chose to walk away from that lifestyle, and he chose to walk away from that job, he's still in the mix on social media, and he has valid points. Now, I scrolled onto Instagram and it popped up. Hector is sitting in front of the camera, and he doesn't look fazed at all, but he looks a little rattled to the fact that he can't believe someone would do this. And he shows us a letter, okay, on his Instagram. He says that he's at, I believe, his daughter's swim meet, doing what a father does with his ex-wife, co-parenting, man, which is a great thing, which is what I try to do. And his ex-wife tells him, hey, I received a letter for you. I'm sure he still gets mail at her home. They were married. Mail does that. And she says it's not a good letter. So he says, of course, yeah, bring me the letter. I'll look. So he shows on screen that this basically is a lawsuit filed against him from one Jaime Osuna, which can only make me believe that this lawsuit was filed on behalf of Jaime Osuna for defamation of character or whatever other fucking bullshit he wants to put in there. Look, I'm sure that Hector has done stories on Jaime Osuna and has explained exactly what that monster is. You can't defecate on a character or defamation of character when the character is shit himself. Literally a piece of shit. Someone who would plunge scissors into an innocent woman's back. Lure in the vulnerable. Someone who has said that they would kill their own family members and they would kill anyone upon release. Someone who has said that any celly that they get or anyone on the yard, they would love to do bad things to him. This guy, Jaime Osuna, definitely is a monster, right? Or someone who pretends to be. He's only 5'6" tall and 130 pounds soaking wet, but he's got a lot of rage, pent up anger, and things have happened to him in the past that have turned his life into a walking, living zombie, a monster movie. And he wants to do the monster mash, right? Now, Hector has done videos on him. He has explained exactly who this man is, Jaime Osuna. And somewhere along the line, I believe Jaime Osuna decided that he was going to file a lawsuit against Hector in particular because Hector must have said something that he didn't like. Give that motherfucker a hug, right? Hector laughed at him and said, bro, I'm getting back to my daughter's swim meet. What's relevant and most important in his life, right? What Jaime Osuna's got going on is hopelessness, desolation, darkness, and a long time celled up in that cell alone for eternity. And that's exactly what he deserves for the victims and what he's done to people, right? I don't think this lawsuit means shit. You got to understand that Hector has freedom of press. He has the freedom of opinion. He has the freedom to tell stories and do stories and speak on it with his perspective in any way he wants to. And I've never seen him disrespect anyone. You can't disrespect someone when it's basically your own opinion and people don't agree with it. If you're not talking shit to them, if you're not talking about their family, if you're not blatantly putting cases on them and disrespecting them, your opinion is your opinion. People might not like it. They might want a big old fucking hug after because you made them feel stupid or you pointed out the inaccuracies or the realness in what's going on, and they don't like that. Look, this lawsuit is frivolous. I'm going to tell you that. So many people have made documentaries and videos concerning Jaime Osuna because they're pretty relevant to what's going on in this world, and people want to know about why this guy is incarcerated and what this guy did and what the fuck was he thinking when he got all these stupid tattoos on his face. The fact is, Jaime Osuna is exactly where he needs to be. Now, Hector didn't only address Jaime Osuna. He kind of laughed that character off because anytime a mass murderer, someone who is as diabolical as the way that dude is, trying to bring a lawsuit against you, it's laughable. Okay, especially when you know the law, when you've worked around law enforcement for several years like Hector has. I'm sure he took it with a grain of salt. Like, come on, bro, if you don't stop it. Now, Hector does have freedom of press. So that means he can impress upon the people anything he wants to, as long as he does it within the parameters and the rules of engagement. Meaning, as long as he keeps it real and puts out facts and opinions based off facts, he's perfectly fine. But Hector addressed the correctional officers. See, when you're dealing with Hector Bravo's channel, it always comes back to what's going on out there on that yard with the COs. And he said the COs were spineless. To even allow this individual to file this lawsuit, to even allow this individual that type of due process. Now, that guy has that coming regardless of what Hector thinks or says. You could file lawsuits on anyone you want at any particular time as long as you have a reasoning to do so, right? And if the courts feel that you have a proper case, then they will push it through the legal system. So yes, it's 100% verified and factual that a lawsuit was filed by Jaime Osuna concerning Hector Bravo, but Hector Bravo is more concerned with the COs that allowed this fucking idiot to pick up a pen. That man shouldn't be allowed shit. Now, he's in prison, man. He's a human being, and I know a whole bunch of fucking weirdos are going to run up and say, he could do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. But just remember, if you were in the cell with him, he would do whatever he wants. And you wouldn't see a lot of people, they don't talk shit about when someone gets hit or someone gets whacked or someone gets hurt in the prison system because they feel they're criminals and they deserve it. There's people that literally think criminals deserve that shit. There's literally people that think just because you've been incarcerated that you're a bad person. Case in point, I'm going to talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I was on a live on a different platform, myself and Dubs. And, you know, this is a platform where you get placed with different individuals. You kind of team up, you have battles, and you get placed with other individuals. Some you know, some you see around the way, some you don't. Sometimes it's just characters that are weird and just want attention. And then sometimes it's actual cool people, man, that you follow, you respect, and you guys have interaction on the platform. And then there's sometimes where it's people that are from different countries that you don't quite understand, and it just is what it is. Well, case in point, a man and a woman pop up on our screen. I see the man has the Ukraine flag. The woman obviously is Ukrainian because she's talking to the man in their dialect and their language, right? And immediately she points out, before we could even talk, we're like, hello, we're being respectful to people we meet. She's like, oh, we just went from bad to worse. These guys are criminals. And the guy asked her, what do you mean? And she said, look at their bio. And I don't have nothing on my bio, but Dubs does have that. He's, you know, an ex-convict that did time, was a lifer that's reformed and doing his thing now. And immediately the distaste and the look on her face was like, we did something bad because we were locked up in prison, or more specifically Dubs, right? Is the way she looked at it. And I was like, the audacity of this woman to sit here and be judgmental and judge us based on our past, right? But that's how the world is. You're always continuously and constantly being judged, right? So for me to fucking feel some type of way about that, then to sit here the next day and be a hypocrite and judge Jaime Osuna because of the things he done, you know, I would be a fucking hypocrite, right? The difference is I've never put out there, and Dubs has never put out there, that we want to continue our criminal activities, our past. We don't want it to be prevalent in our future. We want to do better. We want to change, and we want to take accountability for the things that we've done, right? Whereas Jaime Osuna has continuously put on paper and in videos on Instagram, on fucking YouTube, on different platforms, that if allowed to be around anyone else, he will kill him, right? He will hurt him. So he wants to continue his criminal ways. So yes, I'll be a little judgmental on someone who says that. I'm going to judge whether someone should be put in this cell or not, or at least voice my opinion on it. Call me a hypocrite if you want. That's just the way it is. As far as Hector Bravo, yeah, a lawsuit's been filed. Jaime Osuna decided that guy was defamating his character. How so? How can you do defamation of character if everything you've ever said about that guy is truth or came out of his own fucking mouth? He self-admitted what he done in that cell to that man. He self-admitted what he did with those scissors to that woman. And not to belittle them cases, but there's probably numerous other things he's done that he hasn't even put out there yet. You know, we're talking about Michael Myers in reality. Someone who said that he hurt animals just to hurt. I mean, just as serial fucking killer as you can get. Just weirdo activities, right? Someone who the society and community definitely needs to be away from. That man is exactly where he needs to be, if not somewhere else worse. That's for reals, right? Anyone who hurts innocent civilians, women, children, old people needs to be locked away forever. Okay, they're no longer needed in society because there's nothing they could bring. Now, if someone in the past has hurt someone and they were young and they've changed their lives, I get it. Everyone's worthy of a chance. But when a person continues to spit and spew venom and say that they want to still hurt people, get that motherfucker up out of here. When you walk into a cell and he goes, I go, right? I go into the offense-defense pose because I don't want nothing to do with that. Anyways, Hector Bravo's, this guy's filed a lawsuit. I don't know if Hector Bravo's going to file a counter lawsuit for making him waste his time and miss a little bit of his daughter swimming. But I was very surprised and happy with the way he conducted himself in that drop, saying that, you know, hey, look, bro, this is some bullshit. The CO's fucking, you're spineless. You allow all these types of fucking characters to have a voice and to continue to do what they do. And it is what it is. Now, if you guys don't know, the case where he chopped old boy's head off was pretty controversial. And the reason it was pretty controversial was because there's been people that have spoke, especially the family of the man who's deceased. Unfortunately, man, my condolences again to them, right? I've done videos in the past expressing that. And one of the most horrific killings in CDC history, what happened to that guy? He was not supposed to be placed in that cell with Jaime Osuna. Jaime Osuna was supposed to be housed alone. Okay. Whether it was in a C file and someone just missed it, it is what it is. But there was a lot of people saying that they thought that that man had disrespected correctional officers or disrespected someone and was placed in that cell purposely. You know, imagine someone beheading their cellie. And you're going to fight for your life. There's going to be screams. There's going to be a loud fighting going on in that cell. Guy's not going to go down easy unless he got him in his sleep, which according to the case and the reports, he didn't. So this room, the cell was actually blocked, obstructed. The view was obstructed. Usually, having been in prison, when you obstruct the view of your cell, a CO will walk by and tell you, hey, move the sheet, move the curtain, wave a hand. Let me see if you're still alive in there. Like, you can't obstruct the view of the window to your cell because anything could be going on in there. You know what I'm saying? There could be some crazy shit going on in there that only P. Diddy knows about. I mean, there's just, you know, Bad Bunny shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Right? It could be going in there like, you could be getting there getting meat milled. All I know is this. You're not supposed to obstruct the view. This view was obstructed for over 7 hours as he did this brutal crime. And no CO noticed. You mean to tell me they didn't walk by all night during count time, look in the cell and see sangre everywhere? Come on, man. Save that shit for someone who believes that shit, right? I don't. And I believe Hector's on the same wavelength with me. I think he believes that there was some, definitely some funny shit going on behind the scenes when it comes to the COs that were working that day and on that building. Now, I'm not going to say they're guilty or not. I'm just going to say that was what was brought up in court as well as by the family and people, other people. And I mean, only the one who knows is the one that's there, right? Only Jaime Osuna would know. He's never said anything about the correction officers. And I'm sure he wouldn't, because I'm here to tell you guys, the moment you speak on COs while incarcerated, disrespect them, or shed a bad light on them, you get hit. Okay, you're not going to be walking that yard. There's going to be other individuals that have some type of interaction or correspondence with that canine. It's what we used to call them, canines. And they're easily going to get at someone, and someone's going to get at someone. I'll explain to you guys the situation, right? Without saying any names. I was in a particular prison in a particular state, and there was a particular CO that was running shit in, meaning he was bringing in contraband, right? He only fucked with a few individuals. Now, in this building, it was a dorm setting. There was myself and another Norteño from Stockton, okay? Oh, excuse me, from Sacramento. And there was a couple Southsiders and a black. And that was all he fucked with. He didn't want to fuck with the whites for some reason. He didn't want to fuck with all the brothers, man, just that one. And he just had the people he fucked with. You know what I'm saying? I was getting cigarettes. I was happy. Never asked for any illegal drugs or anything like that. Wasn't into that, man. I was cool with cigarettes, selling a pack for 200 on the yard, 400 canteen, or 200 cash, 200 send out, or 400 fucking canteen, right? Commissary. And so shit was going on for a while. A young northerner gets there, right? And we had cell phones and we had a few little other things going on. He sees the cell phone. He asks the homeboy, can I use the cell phone? The homeboy says, no, it's going to be $20, man, for an hour-long phone call. We were charging people. I know, but that's just the hustle in prison, right? And he felt upset about that. I'm a homeboy. You should let me this and that. No, it doesn't work that way, bro. Even though in hindsight, he should have let the little dude, but now what came out after, yeah, fuck him. But anyway, so he refuses to let him use the phone. That dude literally writes a fucking kite saying that there's a CO bringing in, he's gathered information. There's a CO that works that building. He's not sure which one, but he's bringing in contraband to the building and hands it to the CO who's doing it. Individuals got pulled to the side and told, man, by that CO, I'm going to lunch. By the time I come back to lunch, I don't care what happens. This guy better not be here. And guess what? When he got back from lunch, that guy was not there. Alarm hit before he even made it out the building. Okay, so quietly as it's kept, and it's not kept too quietly, there's a lot of CEOs that feel some type of way and they're doing what they're doing. That's none of my business, right? But I will say that, with the Jaime Osuna thing, I believe Hector believes the same thing. And I think things that he said basically piqued Jaime Osuna's interest. And so now he wants to file a lawsuit. I'll tell you guys right now, ain't nothing going to come of it. Not at all. Hector's not concerned. I'm not concerned. Jaime Osuna is very concerned, but he needs to be concerned with getting his cheeks clapped with his next celly because the next one ain't going out like that, I'm sure. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Vario Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're in the Central Valley area, make sure you pull up to the Vario and get you something cold to drink and support the local small businesses, as well as Sticks and Stones Yard Service. Again, support the small local businesses because a man is only a man if a man is a man. What do I mean by that? A man toils in that soil for what he gets, man. Sticks and stones, I send mines. Thank you, guys. This is The Gun. Jaime Osuna. Fucking lawsuit. The vato went from fucking Michael Myers to fucking Johnny Cochran. Stupid.